Okay, well, here we are at Quintessence Vineyard. I'm with Marshall Edwards. We're in what we refer to as Block 7, Clone 169 Cabernet Sauvignon, and we're just going to talk to Marshall a little bit about what's going on in the vineyard, what's going on with the weather, which is a little bit more moisture and rain than we're used to seeing this time of year. But we'll just kind of start there. Marshall, they've been through this and shoot thinned this.
Yeah, we just finished shoot thinning here on Red Mountain. I've got one little vineyard left to go. So out of all of our blocks, out of all of our vineyards, we've just finished all the shoot thinning. So it's good. We're actually a little bit ahead of where I thought we would be this time already shoot thinning, and so I feel pretty good about that. How the vines look, growth looks really good. Like I said, the weather is a big concern right now with just all this rain we've been getting all this week and clear into last week. We've had showers off and on, and so it's prime time mildew weather for us out here in the vineyard. So we're all a little nervous about it, but hopefully this is kind of the last rain for a little bit, and hopefully we'll get a wind today, which usually happens on Red Mountain. We get enough wind, it'll kind of help dry the vines out, and so hopefully we can get out of this mode and get some sun and get some heat, get this stuff growing. So
what you've kind of done with the shoot thinning for maybe people that don't know that much about it, you're trying to sort of go ahead and explain.
So what we're really trying to do is just open up the vines. After we go through and prune, a lot of stuff that will push, even though we didn't think it would, a lot of shoots will push. So we're really trying to just clean up the vine, get nice spacing between here, get the shoots, get it opened up. We'll take anything off the bottom that's pushing, we clean it up. And so basically we're trying to get sunlight, open this up just to keep good spacing between the clusters and the shoots. And also, though, we've got to make sure that we have enough crop for what you guys want in the winery, and so we're constantly before we shoot thin, we'll do cluster counts, because right now, and you can see we've got really good crop potential anyway right here. We're just in the forming of these clusters right now, so we've got to go through bloom and set still, and that can all be weather related too. But we've got a lot, 2 clusters per shoot. So on some years, if you don't have a very good cluster production, you can actually have maybe a lot of non-count shoots. So you've got to be careful when you shoot thin. So beforehand, we'll go through and we'll do cluster counts to see kind of what our crop load potential is. And then after shoot thinning, right behind it, we're doing crop load, trying to see what the crop is. So we're getting it close to kind of what you guys want. Like right now, this should be sitting right now probably close to 4 tons, maybe slightly over 4 tons, because we know that we're going to come in and color thin it just to even up the crop and get it down to that 3.5 to between somewhere in that
3.5 to 4 tons.
Yeah.
And so when you see this right now and you can see the clusters, how far away, I know it depends on weather, but how far away are we from bloom, you think, right now?
I would say we're probably, if you look at it right here, maybe 3 weeks, maybe something like that, probably.
And this is Cab Sauv, so keep in mind that we have seen some stuff out there that, there's some Chardonnay, some early varietals that are already in bloom.
Yeah. I would say 2 weeks to probably, like I said, it's all weather related too, just depends, but we're not too far away though. Yeah. Yep. Said we've just finished the shoot thinning. I've got the crews doing other things right now, but we're really close to where this is all VSP trellis system, and so you can see we've got these tall stakes to move the wires up, and so we're real close to wanting to move these wires, and need just a little bit more shoot growth, and then we'll go ahead and move the wires, trap the canopy, and then leafing is next after that. So,
and this is block 169, or block 7, which we've made single vineyard wines from, and this also goes into our Quintessence Cabernet, which we make every year. This is one of the blocks, along with a block down below here, that make up the Quintessence Cabernet, and you can just see we're standing on a pretty extreme slope. And this is also part of Phase 1, which was planted in 2010, I think, right, Marshall?
Yeah, 2010 is when we planted it. Yeah.
So it's been
Yeah, in
10
fact, Charlie
years.
was the one that came to the vineyard with me when this was just a bare piece of land, and we right about in this spot right here, and kind of figured out what we should plant, where we should plant it, and to your credit, and to a couple other guys' credits, you guys really helped us get off the ground on Quintessence,
and this has been
moving.
I know one of those blocks you could just tell even when, like Marshall said, when we came out and looked at it, and then we said, oh boy, wouldn't it be great to plant some clones here? And then, boy, right from the start, the first vintage 2012, we made a single vineyard wine from this block, right from the start. So that's really encouraging. You can see it all the way through like that.
Yeah. I think that it's funny, these young vines that have been good right from the start, even in Cabernet, how good this vineyard has been as young vines. Even I mean, it's progressively getting better now that they're 10 years old, but I think I think we became better farmers and became we understand better ways to take care of the vineyard and how to grow young vines. Mm-hmm. I think, because it never used to be that way, and you know that the young fruit, you would try to shy away from young fruit until 7 or 8 years old, and then
you're right. We used to talk when Marshall and I worked together at San Michelle, and specifically at Canoe Ridge, and I can remember us talking about this juvenile stage with Cabernet Sauvignon, where it might be good that first leaf or your first crop, but then after that. But I think we've progressed viticulturally, and now, I mean, right from the start. So that's a tribute to all these guys out here in the vineyard, figuring it out every year and every day, and that's great stuff.
Yep. But everything looks good. We have a really nice crop. I think it's so far so good. If we get through this weather, and which we'll get through this, and everything will be fine. It's just a little nerve-wracking right now when it's this wet out, and we're not used to this. But yeah, things look really good, really good. Really happy with how the vineyard looks right now.
Well, we're here at the kind of the east end of Quintessence here in a block of Merlot that we share with Janik Winery. And this is a main part of what we make for our Quintessence Vineyard designated Merlot. Along with some of this would go into other wines that we make, like our Red Mountain Merlot and even Optu. And so it's a different aspect to what we're working with here, in that this is these rows are more southeast sloping, so you can see a pretty dramatic slope kind of down the hill from here. This is usually the very first block that we pick every year. First block that gets ripe. Really like working with it. You can kind of see pretty limited amounts of canopy growth here, but enough that we're going to have a pretty good, size crop. As we mentioned with the Cabernet, a little bit different look to the clusters, more elongated, and we're still a couple weeks away from actually seeing bloom and set here. And also fairly rocky. You can see a lot of the rock, and it seems like the longer we're here, the more the rock kind of works its way out of the soil and back up onto the top of the soil. It doesn't really make any difference that the rock is there, but it does become more prominent as the vineyard ages out a little bit. I like, we like working with this because it's a little bit different than what we normally see also from just basic north-south, road direction. We're seeing more, this is more southeast facing and extreme slope. And this is sort of the last phase of Quintessence that was planted, I believe, in around 12 or 13, maybe into 14 with some of this. A big part of what we use. We also, in this phase of the development, we buy a little bit of Petit Verdot down below, and that's a big part of the Petit Verdot we get from Quintessence as well. Well, we're here at the very top end of Quintessence Vineyard. Quintessence is about a little over 300 acres, all planted between 2010 and 2014, and it's really hard to summarize, you know, what Quintessence really is in a couple sentences. You can see here we're looking at some Rhone varietal stuff at really extreme slopes, and again you can see some of the rock, and it's, you know, it's one vineyard, but a lot of different elevations, lots of different slope. You can see off in the distance, clear to the highway, we get down and where you're on a pretty level ground there, but really unique vineyard, one that we really like in our lineup, and we're making quite a few different wines off this vineyard now, and love the flavor profile we get from here being just a little bit different than what we see from the rest of Red Mountain, and that's a good thing. We like the uniqueness of it.